Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Flexline Productions as we bring you coverage of the first annual West Mobile County Park Open. I am Dustin Mouret, and joining me is Chase Bowen on the coverage. How's it going, man?
What's up, what's up? How you doing, Dustin?
Doing pretty good. Of course, we already have the first round in the books. If you didn't watch that, go and check it out so you don't get things spoiled if you are into that. As we are now in the long pins for our second round here. That affects, I think, 4 holes on the course that'll now be in a little bit longer positions. And this is a look at our little leaderboard we got going on. As you can see, it's a very tight field.
Let's see what this second round has to bring. Like you said, long pins and one.
Old Bruce Buzard here. Robert Hastings still on the card. Of course, we saw him in the first round. We got Oliver Richardson stepping up to the plate, one of the furthest throwers in the area. Coming out here, there's yourself. We're keeping it down here on the lead card. And Matt Gibbons also makes his return to the coverage after seeing him on our feature card. And
Messing with Oliver about not cheesing hard on the box there, making fun of me for smiling, and Oliver was trying his best not to do the same.
Yeah, it was, again, hole 1 down the long pin, so a much longer approach. Kind of have to put the road more into play if you want to attack this pin, as it is more outside.
Yeah,
Look at that, though.
Bruce was a pretty good shot there. Unfortunately, it kind of rolled away because it definitely does slope downhill over to the other fairway, but this is definitely a tougher starting hole than what you saw in round 1, and that short pin road definitely more into play, like you said. Got to carry it out a little wider, unless you want to go kind of low inside with something a little bit flippier that kind of flips up, but most people are going to want to take that kind of power hyzer shot out to the right and sort of skip or something like that.
Yeah, really well done there from Robert. It's pretty much a textbook. It's a little bit of an unfortunate roll, but kind of curls back, so still has a circle 1 putt for birdie. As there was a bit of a headwind as well on this day, so it was making the hole a little bit trickier to deal with. Again, that road being OB right, definitely want to stay away from that. So we are going to see Oliver here. I believe this is a Firebird.
This, I'm trying to remember. I think that was actually his Cloudbreaker 2. Yeah, that was his Cloudbreaker 2.
Okay.
Yep.
I know he's got a Firebird and a Cloudbreaker. They're like the same color, so I get them confused sometimes.
Yeah, it's very, very similar for sure. So, and I'll be taking my Cloudbreaker 1 here and seeing if I can put a decent move on it, and I'm going to wait for traffic for a split second.
Yeah, that's one of the other things about this hole is you got to kind of wait up. And there was a softball tournament going on the same day as this disc golf event. As again, this is a brand new course. It had only been out for a couple of weeks before this tournament. It's next to like a big softball complex that has been used that way for years. And so we're kind of the new people on the block, so to speak, as we see you throw a pretty solid shot here off the tee.
Yeah, just a little short. I didn't quite commit to it like I wanted to. I wanted a little bit flatter. As I'm not a very far thrower, I had to commit on a little bit of flex for my distance, unlike Oliver Richardson that we just previously saw. Effortless power from that guy.
Yeah, definitely can throw well over 500 feet, as we are going to see Mac here stepping up to the plate. Also a guy who can push that 400 to 425 foot range, so definitely has the power to get up there, but maybe falls a little short.
Good tree kick for him, though. He kind of hit the base of that tree right there that you see, and he stopped him from skipping all the way down that hill.
Pin high here for Oliver, but just down the hill left, and so didn't really have too easy of a putt.
Yeah, that was a long bid for sure.
Bruce also has a very tough bid. I can tell you from first-hand experience how tough that is, because that's where I was, and I got caught up on that limb above him, and took a 5. that's how I got my second round started. Man. He's going to be pitching up for par.
And I think I'm left with like a 45-ish footer, give or take, a little uphill. Definitely not as easy as my first putt from first round, but let's see what I can do. Oh, I thought I had that out of my hand. I really did, and just dropped at the last second.
Yeah, certainly online as far as accuracy, but just a little low, as we're going to see Mac here also kind of testing that. A little bit of branches you're kind of seeing like right above his head he has to kind of pitch over the top of, and catches some chains, but a little outside left.
Yeah, it's a really good bid for him. As Rob's going to take the last birdie look on the card. See if he can connect here.
This would tie him up with Bruce for the lead, and that will stick.
Yep. Definitely a great 2 to start off in this long pin with this little bit of wind and stuff out here.
Yeah, it's the second longest hole on the course when it's in the long pin position. And it's like one of the few open shots you kind of get, as most of the shots here, of course, are deep in these woods that you're about to find out about.
Yep. Yeah, even playing at 372 though, with as wide as you gotta take it, it probably plays a little bit closer to that probably 385-ish range, I would say. So you definitely gotta put a good move on it.
And now we're back to hole 2, same pin position now, 180 feet, just kind of on this right-hand side. Usually you see forehands on this hole, and I think Rob threw a forehand in the first round, but he's changed it up here a little bit.
He did. He burned that forehand over a little bit to the left, and fortunately hung on to that one to the right that time. So he just couldn't find his mojo on that hole.
Yeah, usually you see like flip up forehands up the middle or a wider, more overstable forehand. And you try to play maybe a little ground action up to the pin. There is OB right, but it's pretty forgiving. Like it is pretty far out right. So you have a little bit of cushion towards the pin to play with.
For sure. Bruce here throwing up his extremely beat up soft harp, I think it is.
Yes, it's the most beat up disc I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
I've never, the thing looks like it's been through like a 3-day-old hailstorm, just sitting out there getting destroyed.
For sure. Just, I mean, ridges and bumps and humps all over that thing.
But hey, sometimes that's what you need, as we are seeing a great little touch forehand here from Oliver, and hits a tree and stays right next to the basket.
That looked like a great ace run from where we were sitting. We couldn't quite tell how close it was. And I'm sticking with that soft tactic on this hole, man. It's worked for me, and got that one a little high, a little early. Fortunately, hit that tree. So, not going to have as easy as the birdies I had first round, but we'll see what I can do.
And we see Mac, who definitely is a backhand dominant player. Don't see him forehand too often, but has a good enough one to break it out when he needs it. And we're going to see him kind of follow the trend here on hole 2. See if he can get one up there. A little high, a little too much angle. And that kind of threatened that OB on the right-hand side. Did it find it?
That one, I think actually, I want to say he might have stayed safe on that one, too.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell. His reaction kind of made it seem like he was
We couldn't
worried.
tell,
Yeah.
really, until we got all the way down there. But I think he got caught up on the very edge. I'm checking how close I am to OB, see if how hard I really do want to run this putt.
What was your decision, Chase?
You'll find out, Dustin.
Well, I just want to think, what's the internal, thing thinking?
Oh,
I'm trying to get into the mind of the player here, Chase.
No, okay. I thought you meant like what was the result.
Oh, no.
No, yeah, no. No, I would definitely walk back there. I had some room, and I gave it a bid and just didn't commit. Definitely had a lot more room than I thought I did, but it was downhill slope, so I definitely thought to myself I wanted to keep it a little high. That way it didn't try to hit and slide over the hill or something like that. Just try to get it to land softly in the basket. And Mac, I believe, did stay in, and yeah, he did, and he was. No, I'm sorry, I lied. That he did find the OB. That was a tough call.
Yeah, so that was the putt for par save, so he's going to be carding a bogey on this one, so he'll be losing a stroke here to the field, as we are going to see Bruce looking for his birdie to try to take the lead back after Robert got hung up off the tee. He actually putts with harps as well.
He does.
Not many people do that.
Very, very interesting.
Oh!
Terrible spit out. All right side. Pro side, as they call it, Dustin.
I don't know anything about that.
I don't agree with the statement, not one bit.
If it goes in the basket, it goes in the basket.
If it goes in the basket, yeah, no one ever asks how the putt goes in. As you just say it goes in.
Yep.
That's all they hear.
Yep.
They don't say, did it hit right side? Did it hit left side? Did it fall over the cage?
I mean, I get the logic behind it. Like if you hit right side on a hyzer angle as a right-handed putter, it's a better chance that it's going to stay in.
For sure.
But,
For
yeah.
sure. I think Kevin Jones explained the catch of a basket very perfectly one time. You basically draw a diagonal line from the top right corner to the bottom left corner, from just up to down, and then in that diagonal line, if your putt basically hits anywhere in there, you should catch. So
There you go.
back to hole 3. I think Oliver's going with his A3 here, pretty overstable approach disc. Comes out a little early.
Yeah.
So many trees.
Yeah, this is a very tight hole, and it's a distance that's still somewhat challenging too. I mean, it's just under 300 feet, but requires you to hit a very particular line. Usually you just want to be kind of just right of center. You kind of see the stump off the tee pad, dead center. You just kind of want to be straight over the top of that and just kind of keep carrying straight as much as you can. There is a wide left forehand, but you're pretty much conceding par at that point.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like I said, you definitely up the middle is the most common play. I've even seen somebody actually take a wide backhand gap with something very overstable fairway driver and get all over there. Rob does a great shot here.
Yeah, that's pretty much picture perfect there from Rob. Hits the gap, carries it perfectly, will have himself a chance for birdie. So we are going to see that flex forehand here from Bruce. And I'm kind of curious how wide left he's going to take this, because as long as you're past the Mando, you're good. But actually, he's thinking backhand now.
Tricked you.
Wow. Wow, Bruce. Why have you done this to me?
Old Brucey Bruce. Let's see if he can make the right decision here.
Seems like it.
Put a good move on it. Just stay one. Didn't quite get stable quick enough and caught that last little tree. So, and I'm switching up my disc here from first round. I'm going with my overstable Rock 3 mid-range to try to get a little bit. I threw a putter first round. I just think I tried to throw it too hard. So going here, a little bit of a correction. Still just so many trees down, and if you got to stay on that little right side a little bit more. So went a little inside and caught all those trees.
It's one of those holes that I feel like the 3 is pretty easy to get, but if you want the birdie, you have to hit, a perfect shot or get lucky.
Basically. You're pretty much right. I don't know what disc Mac is throwing here.
I think this looks like maybe a zone.
That's kind of what I don't know.
I know he has a zone that looks like that, so I was thinking that's maybe what it was.
It might be. It might be. I didn't really quite pay attention to that one.
Either way, he puts himself in position to at least get a par, as you have a long birdie bid here.
And a terrible attempt, to say the least. I was not too thrilled about that. I tried to laugh it off the best I could, though. That's all you can do.
It's not the pole you're supposed to hit.
No.
Not the wooden pole. I want the metal one over there. As we're going to see Oliver basically pitching up for his par as well. Mac has similar length putt to you. Has to try to weave around some trees to give this a chance. Definitely know he wants to try to get one back after taking the bogey on hole 2.
No, yeah, for sure.
Looks like he's looking at a stepper here. He's got a pretty good step putt.
He does. He drives that putter really hard, straightforward. Just that little pop of the wrist. Just a little high.
Yeah, a little high, a little left, but certainly close. We'll be able to get the 3 at least. And here's you trying to get your par. You got some work to do for it.
I do. I was very, very disappointed in that 2 attempt. So I just pulled that. Unfortunately, didn't commit. Having some putting woes here the first couple holes.
Rangefinder got broken out there. I assume he was just looking to see if he was inside or out, see if he could jump putt or not, or step.
He's a step putter as well. So if he's outside that circle, he's definitely going to utilize that, because I think it helps him just keep it on line a little better out of his hand. Gives it that more straightforward power just right at the pole.
Yeah, I mean, he's putting with harps, which have a ton of stability. So you definitely have to really put some angle on it if you want to push it forward.
Even as beat in as they are, they still have plenty of stability to them.
Absolutely, especially low speeds like a putt.
Yep.
We'll see here. This is for his birdie. See if you can get it in there, and a little high.
I think there was a little headwind whipping through there, and I think it raised his putt just a little bit. It was a good attempt.
And here's Mac to save par. Robert's just waiting to play. He's been watching everyone struggle on the putting green a little bit.
Basically, he's going to be almost one of your last ones to putt here.
Yeah, he threw a great tee shot, so he's going to have a chance here to take a lead.
Yep. See if he can knock it down here.
Putting with the Nomad, sponsored by MVP. Mentioned that in the first round, but figured give him a shout out again here, as he is going to knock it down. Great birdie.
Yep. It's definitely, you telling me he took a little bit. You see the banners whipping back there in the background. You can tell he took a little bit more time on that putt, because it definitely was a little windier this second round than it was the first, for sure.
Yes, very windy.
So. But fortunately, the course is fairly wooded, so you weren't getting as blasted as you could have been. With Oliver knocks down a nice 3 save there. As I'm going to tap in my 4 and move on to the next hole. Very unfortunate.
And Bruce will take the par. So Oliver and Bruce find themselves 1 behind Robert as we head to hole 4. Pretty short little par 3, but it had to throw a very particular line with the forehand to get into one of 2 gaps, essentially. And that looks great.
Yep, and Rob cured it. Yeah, I think Rob was ready to play this round, man. He came out those first 3 holes just gung-ho firing. So
yeah.
I think he wanted some vengeance on this course after the first round.
Yeah, fair enough, as Oliver will skip one in there as well. Puts himself on the dance floor, has a great look at birdie from there.
For sure. Bruce, another pretty good forehand player. I would say it's a pretty strong suit in his game after playing with him a few times.
Yep.
I believe he's from Jonesboro, Arkansas, if I'm not mistaken. He moved down here, I think, not too long ago. Has been
Oh, that was a rough bounce. I believe that was a justice from him. I know he likes to use that for something more overstable than his heart.
Yep, I believe you are correct there.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely go for it all air, but playing the skip is probably the easiest way to tackle the low ceiling and try to just punch one through the gap. Can see people go, overstable mid or fairway driver on this hole.
Yep, for sure. I definitely see a lot more skip plays than you see all air, as you see Mac doing the same, catching that early
It's the
tree.
exact same thing that happened in the first round.
Exact same thing.
It's tough, man. Like there's some very small margins you have to get through to get on this one.
Right.
Don't let the length fool you.
And I'm swapping disc here, and I got just misfire and somehow got lucky and punched through some trees up there, and actually think I might have left myself a look there.
Here's Mac. Long bid for birdie. Just a little low out the hand.
Yeah, he was definitely not having his best putting day for sure. He's typically a much better circle one putter and stuff, as you've seen.
Oh, yeah. Definitely think it's one of the stronger suits of his game for sure. Usually
no
pretty
doubt.
spot on the putting green. As we're going to see you looking for birdie here, so have a chance.
Super
Oh.
fortunate. That bottom left catch, man. That's what I was telling you first round.
Is that the true pro corner that you
I'm
need to be
telling you,
hitting?
that's the true pro corner.
Okay.
Bottom left pocket.
I'll give that a try tonight when I go practice putting. I'll see.
Even if it hits hyzer, straight, and hyzer, it's going to just suck it in and just catch it. And it'll just roll it around. Oliver with a nice 2 there. A good forehand into this basket. I love playing with Oliver. He's just him and his little posse. Him and his brother Caleb and their friend Dylan Weaver. And they are a joy to play with.
Yeah, all talented, all really nice, all positive, upbeat attitudes. Definitely a great group.
Yeah, 100%.
So we are going to step up to hole 5, 215. Again, just narrow corridors, as many of the holes are at this course. Try to keep something nice and straight as long as you can.
And Rob kind of making that same mistake we saw with Jeremy Gates make on this whole first round, just kind of high and left and just kind of funnels down that slightly down slope.
And I love this play from Oliver. The right-hand side of this fairway is so much more open than the left. I think the forehand is actually a great play, and he lands that to perfection.
Yep. I believe there was a CTP on this hole, and I believe he got it, if I'm not mistaken. So.
Yes. I was the FTP off the tee.
Furthest
from the pin.
Furthest
Yeah,
from the
there you
pin,
go. You did not win anything for that, in case you were curious. As you played a little bit of pinball there.
I did, and that was actually a great tree kick because that was leaking probably down that little down slope and was probably going to funnel pretty well outside of circle one, so I was okay with that. Luck is part of this game. I don't know if you can see on this camera, guys, how beat up that heart really is, but there's just so many dimples in that thing.
You've never seen a more beat up disc in your life, I promise.
Yeah, you really haven't. I had an A2 once that I thought was super beat up until I saw that disc, and it was just, it had no...
It's surprising to me that there's not a hole through it. Like, it's just barely hanging on to being PDGA legal.
Right.
It's going to be a sad day when that thing finally kicks the bucket.
I need to break out the micrometer, make sure it's not
Yeah.
not filed down too far now. As Matt goes a little far left over there on that left side. Man, I'm telling you, if you let that shot go early, it just like the fairway just grabs it, or the rough just grabs it. And just
it
pulls
is a
all the way
downslope left too, so that's definitely a part of it here. As we are going to see Bruce trying to tackle a birdie and bang, that's going to be in there.
He told me walking up to that putt, he was not happy with that tee shot, but he said, you know what, at least I'm left the putt. And I was like, well, I said, knock it down, dude. He said, I'm going to. And
There you go.
He did.
He willed it into existence.
Yep. That's exactly what I told him too. I said, you talking into existence.
Step putt here from Mac, and that was close.
Yep. Thought he had that.
Ugh. And here's Rob, who still has a look even after being a little bit left off the tee. Has a chance here to put one in, and he cans
Cashed
it.
This man's putter is working these first couple holes.
And of course, he has his own YouTube channel. You can go check him out, Old Rec Rob. Cool to have another content creator in the community, as we're going to see you trying to get your birdie. That'll do.
I was happy with that. Good commitment, high, dead center.
Man, Oliver's essentially parked, so you can just drop that thing in there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
I guess talking about that whole CTP situation.
Ah, yep, that's it. I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I said, no, don't forget to put it there. And he was like, I'm going to tap in. And then I told him, I was like, I said, don't forget it.
He's going to pick that thing up and stab it in the ground and claim it as his own.
Not sure if he ended up getting it for the whole tournament or not, because we had quite a few people coming to play that hole behind us. But
Yeah, it's now a hole 6 in the long pin position, so just under 400 feet requires a even more forward pushing forehand to get down to the green.
yep. As Rob gets down there a pretty good little ways, flies that short pin by a good little bit, crashes down in the sand nice for the OB.
Also, the pin's pretty guarded in deep position. There's a couple little holes you can poke through on the left-hand side. Obviously, you want to stay away from the right because that's OB.
Yes.
But yeah, forehand's definitely preferred play here. But there is that OB line left you need to contend with as well. So definitely got to make sure you're stable enough.
Yeah. Another really strong forehand player here is he doesn't show us that here on this hole, unfortunately, but Oliver's definitely a very, very, very strong forehand player as far as distance and controls goes.
Yeah, definitely one of the furthest throwers in the area.
Yeah.
I think he actually won the distance competition for AM Worlds.
Yeah, he did.
And that was last year, if I'm not mistaken.
532 or something.
Yeah,
like
it was well above 500.
So same mistake I made first round, but this time I got the destroyer skip, baby. She comes all the way back around to probably 60-ish feet, 65.
And I can tell you, Bruce has a pretty powerful forehand in his own right.
He
So
really
definitely
does.
one of the guys on this card that can definitely attack this pin.
Yep.
I'd actually kind of call him forehand dominant, to be honest.
I would too. I would definitely would too. He's got a really, really clean forehand, as you can see. He generates a lot of power using his whole body.
Whips that one out there, and just doesn't quite get all the way back.
He hit that. It's like a sand clayish kind of path
Yeah.
that runs all the way through there, and just it's too high. Just had no chance to skip, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Matt going to showcase us another forehand here.
Yeah, I believe this is an Emperor.
More than likely so. Those things just go far, as he says.
Let's see how he does.
Yep, he hung that one out a little bit wide as well, and fortunately never found the back in bounds.
And that OB line was definitely a challenge, as we are going to see Oliver left with a pretty decent little upshot here after getting hung up off the tee, trying to play a slow turning backhand, but just doesn't quite get enough angle on it.
Thought to go just a little early and a little high. He just didn't. I think that tree right there in front of him kind of
Sure.
scared him a little bit to commit to that little turnover angle.
And this is just Mac trying to get up and down to try to at least salvage bogey out of the situation after going OB off the tee here.
For sure.
This is his ringer, as that's going to also trail left, but may still be in circle one for a putt.
Yeah, I think he stood up there pretty decent good little bit. And Bruce in a similar situation.
Ooh, that
Bruce
looks
definitely
good.
giving this a run. For sure. He was blasting that thing in the basket trying to get it to go in.
I mean, there's a pretty decent backstop behind the pin, to be honest. Like, there's a lot of tree cover there that you can kind of protect you from, getting in any trouble. So fair enough.
For sure.
So here is Rob for birdie.
Just a little high.
Yeah.
You see where I wound up right there, right on that corner.
Check
Got
you
a
out.
Very, very long straddle. Kind of got to do like a sideways hip spin putt. And just found the left side of the chains.
You almost didn't find any chains. That thing just drops in the bucket, though, so that works.
But hey, what pocket was that, Dustin?
The bottom left, I believe, is what you said.
Hey.
Yes. I'm out here learning, as an AM. Great. Usually have to pay for these kinds of lessons, but I get it for free while I'm sitting here next to you, so it's great. So a little discussion about who's up the putt. It's going to be Mac here, trying to, again, just at least get a 4 out of this. Oh, just a little low. That looks so good.
He has been all over that cage today.
Yes.
All over it.
I feel like all of his putts have been pretty centered and just wrong height.
Oh yeah, definitely online, everyone. Oliver pushes a little deep, unfortunately, in some kind of thick shrubbery back through there as you
Lord.
see what he's trying to work with, yeah.
This would be a miracle. He's trying to think of every possible option, but this is unfortunately the only one that he's really got.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you see that one little small window that he has to go through, and it's
Ooh, close.
little chain out right. And not very pleased with that,
No.
especially after the effortless tap and birdie he had on the last hole.
Yeah. Bruce taking the 4 there, but at least minimizing the damage after going OB off the tee, as Rob is going to be tapping in a par, maintaining that lead here by a couple of strokes now. Oliver will drop down. And yeah, Robert's out in front. He's definitely in position.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, man, he came out guns a-blazing this round. He was not wanting to mess around. He was ready to play some golf, that's for sure.
And after the solo birdie on the previous hole, you take the box, and that's not a bad tee shot.
No, hit that early tree kind of, I don't know, probably 45-ish feet, so that's probably what I have left. So it was looking good, just hung it out a little wide. But you got to beat that little small tree like you had mentioned in the first round. If you don't beat that, you're done.
That's a great throw. Oh, never mind. I thought that was actually going to keep turning. I thought that was.
You see him hit the tree we were literally just talking about.
I really thought he was turning that enough to get around it.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at that. People get mad at me all the time when I play with them. I'm like, great shot, and then it just hits a tree. But you know what I gotta say to those people? I did not will your disc into any direction.
The disc was going to hit the tree.
Yeah, exactly. So Thank you. I'm glad we're in agreement.
Don't feel bad, Dustin.
Yeah. There's no such thing as nicing someone.
I nice people all the time, as they say, but it's not a thing. So get over yourself, people.
Thank you. I'm going off my soapbox now as we watch Oliver Richardson try to put his A3 through the gap. You can go wider left if you want, but you bring that left OB line into play, and you really have to have something fight back. And the gap's really not that much bigger over there. So this straight shot really is the best play, and at least Oliver stays in bounds.
Yeah, he just threw that one a little low out of his hand. Didn't really have enough time to stable back up.
Yeah. This second round, I hit the tree left of the center one we're talking about and kicked about 80 feet right out of bounds.
Oof, that is brutal.
Yeah, it's one of those holes, and that's actually challenging OB left unless it faded out.
Yeah, I can't quite remember if he did. I think he stayed OB, and I know Rob went OB as well early, but a great run for him for his 3. Probably a tap in 4 there.
Yeah, try to at least not bleed out too much. And
so yeah, I believe Mac did go OB.
But
he cashes the 3 save.
Okay.
What a great putt. I think he was just tired of hitting cage, honestly.
Yeah, he was done.
Yep.
He was ready, and he's gonna nail that one. That's a great putt.
For sure.
Great par save. Don't see too many people saving par from the left OB on this hole.
No, definitely not. Because most of the time you find it going pretty early, so you would normally left with a very long putt. Does Oliver give it a good bid there for his 2?
Yeah, we'll at least be able to get the par out of this situation. This is now Bruce for birdie. Chance for him to make a move.
Old trusty Harp.
Ooh, what a putt. Wow. And he is happy about that, and he's got every reason to. That was a beautiful putt. That never looked like it was going to miss at any point in time on the flight.
He has a great jump putt for sure.
Yeah.
That's why he's always breaking out that rangefinder to see if he's outside a circle or not.
Might as well.
Better jumping step putter than he is a normal putter. Just kidding, Bruce.
See what you got here.
Pretty
not quite bottom left enough,
No, it wasn't. It just missed bottom left.
Yeah. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Tap in my par. Move on. Really unfortunate. This hole is just so short. Even as tough as it is, especially when you get it as easy as you did first round.
Mm-hmm.
You try to throw the same disc, the same shot, thinking it's just that easy, and just goes to show you it's really not. So.
Yeah, not a lot of margin for error on this course. You can take a nasty tree kick, line up OB, or just have no look. So while the holes are short, very technical for sure, as we are going to see Oliver tap in the 3.
If you see me in the background over there, we're talking to Mr. President of the MADGA Association right here, Corey Mattis.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually talking about, I was telling him about my 2 I just had on 6, and he was telling me he 2'd as well, except he took a strike all the way up the middle and parked it.
What an absolute legend.
Very impressive.
As we're on hole 8, just under 200 feet, right-hand side is going to be out of bounds, so missing left is definitely the best mistake you could make if you're going to make one.
And Bruce knew he did not commit to that. He walked off the tee pad shaking his head because he knew he was scared of it, as he said.
Yeah, definitely have to manage the height perfectly on this hole and just not overshoot it because it is short, so you got to control the distance as well.
And I did the same exact thing. Same exact thing. Just early, couldn't commit.
Let's see what Oliver's doing here. It looks like he's got something kind of fast in his hands. Maybe just trying to down tempo something there.
Yeah, but I want to say it is his Firebird. And
Okay.
I think he is just trying to go very, very soft. But yeah, he definitely pushed this a little bit too straight, as you see.
And that is OB.
And he's doing some course maintenance out there, breaking some tree limbs down.
Yeah, there was a pocket of inbounds, like just straight behind the baskets, kind of more to the left of the center of the screen that you see. But if you were anywhere to the right, you were out of bounds.
Yep. What is this? That ringer you said that think is Max?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty overstable putter, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But it looks like he caught something and got kicked right, so he will be out of bounds.
Yeah, and he is 2 for 2 on OBs on this hole, so this hole definitely had his number today, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely touchy, because I mean that gap's pretty big out there to the right-hand side, but there's also some like weird vines hanging straight down that you could catch, and well, that's a big old tree that Rob caught.
Yeah, he just could not let that one go in time.
At least he stayed out of inbounds. I mean, that's the silver lining, I guess you could say.
But now he is left with a very, very, very guarded putt.
Yes.
Or upshot, I guess you should say.
Yeah.
And you can see him down there in the bottom right corner of the screen.
That looks like a ton of fun where you were
That
at.
was, yeah. Yeah. And I almost wound up in the exact same spot I missed my 6-foot birdie putt on the first round.
You were hovering your hand over the hot stove, was what you were doing right over there.
Yes, I was indeed. Yeah, that OB wraps around those little trees right there, so you got like just a little pocket in there.
This madman's running the putt. Oh!
And, yep, he was.
He's done the premature raptor legs.
Yep, he was hyped for that one. We all thought it was in, honestly.
Yeah, I thought it looked pretty good too. I don't blame him for starting to run it in.
Very slow fallout. Mac drawing some chains again here.
Yeah, that would have been a very lengthy par save putt if he would have been able to connect, but it didn't quite happen. And here's Oliver trying to jump one up there, catches the basket, lays down.
Yeah, I'm really surprised he ran as quick as he did with the OB being directly behind the basket like it is. Surprised he.
So where Rob went is probably safe, actually.
Yes.
Deep and left, there was a pocket of inbounds.
Okay, yeah, no, okay, I misspoke. Yeah, you're right. Basically,
you can actually see the
ditch.
line. He's right on it.
Yeah, he stayed in. Luckily.
So this would be like for a 4 for Rob now.
He moved out of his hand, and unfortunately,
oh no!
OB.
He's about to take a doozy on this hole.
Yep.
Definitely needs to make this putt just to try to stop the bleeding a little bit. And okay, at least that hits, but I mean
that was for his 6th.
Yeah.
Triple, I believe.
That's tough. Because he was in the lead by 2 or 3 strokes just a couple of holes ago, so it's just that quick and it's gone.
He was playing very well. All of us on the card saw that happen, and we definitely unfortunate for him, but we knew it was time for us to start making some moves to see if we could start making something happen.
Absolutely. As you can see, it's real tight on this lead card right now. Just a stroke or 2 separating top from the 4th position. Matt kind of had a little bit of a struggle, but slowly trying to find a decent placement as we head into our final hole of this front 9.
See what Bruce has got here with a forehand. Definitely win picking up on this hole a little bit more, especially out after you get into this field that you have to throw into.
Yeah. This is a tough one because you need to push forward enough, but you need to be inside enough to skip up this hill and get up to the basket. So you have to have just perfect angle control.
For sure. And Bruce went a little bit early there, unfortunate.
Yeah. And technically you could be OB if you go into this cement ditch as you overturn one. That might be pushing deep.
Yep. I honestly got scared there for a minute, but that's a lot further away from the OB than I thought it really was.
Yeah, dead settle down.
My depth perception sucks.
I'm right there with you.
Which is not a great thing to have in disc golf, but
no,
it is what it is.
It's actually cool because sometimes I'll think I'm way short of something, and then I'll get up to it and I'm parked. I'm like, sick.
Yeah.
It's kind of an optimistic version of having poor depth perception, but then sometimes it can come back and bite you. That's for sure.
Agreed. Mac kind of doing the same thing I did, just kind of didn't really overturn it, but just a little wide.
Yeah.
Just didn't have enough time to fight back.
I mean, the good thing is if you push straight enough and you get out into the open, you can at least get a par for sure.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. It should definitely be an easy par save. As long as you get through this main gap and you don't hit early and fall in this ditch, which is OB, then you're good. As long as you get through that initial gap, you're definitely easy 3 save.
That looks pretty good from Oliver. That's going to give him an uphill putt for birdie.
Yep.
Maybe just on the edge of circle 1.
Yep, I think he's right at pin high, probably circle 1.
Let's see what Robert can do here. Definitely trying to, fight back. He hasn't lost too much ground in the grand scheme of things. Like, he's still a couple strokes away from the lead, so he still has a chance to get something going despite the previous hole being a little bit of a blow up.
For sure.
As he's going to be probably flicking his Tesla, if I had to imagine. Something he likes to forehand a lot. Ooh, that's inside.
Yep.
That's OB.
Yep. Very unfortunate for Rob. He was not too happy about that. He just let that one go super early.
And he elects to re-tee, okay.
Yeah, he did. I mean, there's really no point in not. I mean,
yeah, we had someone on our card do this too, and it's just like the amount of space you gain going forward is just not really there, and it makes the gap tougher. So
you give yourself the extra 40 feet back and have good footing on the tee pad.
Yep, exactly. You're giving that one a run.
Yep. And I thought I actually had that one for a minute. I turned around to David and I thought I had it for you, David.
Set depth perception again, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. Just a little deep.
Ooh, Bruce trying to give that a little bit of a jump putt. Does settle down at least for par.
Yep.
That would have been ludicrous if he would have hit that. That was very tricky looking.
That would have been a very, very good putt.
And Mac for the step putt from well into circle 2, if not outside circle 2 from where he's standing.
The old stepper again. Oh.
Oh.
No.
You do hate to see that. At least it didn't roll too far down. He's still, right there in circle 1 for a par save. But definitely a tester. Good putt there from Rob.
That was a very good putt. Unfortunate it had to be for a bogey, but it was still a good putt. Definitely could have been a lot worse for that super early OB that he had.
These last couple of holes have really kind of set them down the leaderboard a little bit, but still some holes to play, still a chance to fight back, because we are going to see Oliver actually going for birdie here. He's trying to take advantage of the situation, and he's going to can it. That is a great birdie for Oliver.
Yep, very nice putt.
Going to put some right there next to you and Bruce for, pretty close to the lead position.
Yeah, I think at this point too, I think I did actually check scores, unfortunately, which I hate to do during the tournament. We had a couple guys on the chase card that were kind of up there by us too, so I definitely knew going into this back 9, I needed to turn some stuff on a little bit.
Yeah, after seeing the card kind of just clean up from this point forward, Bruce is going to be your leader for the lead card, with yourself and Oliver just 1 stroke behind as we wrap things up here in our second and final round of our first annual West Mobile County Park Open. Here you can see our scorecard. And Bruce has, kept things relatively clean, only carding 1 bogey. Robert's had a bit of a struggle here on the last 3 holes in the front 9, and Mac has also had a couple of licks taken, but still trying to coast through. And yeah, it's been a pleasure working with you, Chase, on this.
Same to you, Dustin. See you guys for the back 9.